Go vote. Your vote is your future.
Welcome back, our dear viewers, continuing our special coverage for the presidential elections 2024, and Egyptian voters across the nation cast their ballot in the presidential election on the third day of the voting, while the polling centers were set up nationwide to choose a president for the next 6-year term. The presidential vote is held under full judicial supervision. To shed more light on the voting process as the polling stations opened for the third and final day at 9 a.m. sharp, we are joined from downtown by our correspondent Basma Taha. Basma, good morning.
Good morning, Mahisi.
Basma, how do you describe the voting process at the polling station in downtown Cairo for the third day?
Yes, Mahisi, as you said, voting today for the third day of the 2024 presidential election started at exactly 9 a.m. Egyptians are still heading to the voting stations in order to cast their votes, believing that their voices will count and also their decisions will lead to a better and to a flourishing future in the country. Different age brackets and different segments of society, they are all keen to come in order to cast their votes for the third day of the 2024 presidential election. Also, Mahisi, heavy security measures are still continuing. Heavy security measures are still continuing to secure the voting stations as well as the surrounding areas. Yes. Also, there is coordination between Cairo governorate and as well as all the concerned institutions and agencies. Also, the National Election Authority has indeed provided all facilities for elderly and also for people with special needs in order to help them to cast their votes.
Yes.
Also, Mahisi, the Cairo governor, indeed, General Khalid Abdel Al, has yesterday inspected this voting station in downtown area, and he indeed called upon all citizens of Cairo governorate to go to their voting stations in order to cast their votes, saying that it is a national duty for each and every citizen to cast his or her own vote.
Yes. Yes, Basma, as the polling station just opened a few minutes ago, do you see people that start to come or not yet? How do you describe the scene at the polling station that you are in now, Basma?
Yes, Mahisi, though we are still in the early morning of the day, but Egyptians are coming from the early hours in order to cast their votes. Of course, it is expected that the coming hours will witness also an increase in the number of Egyptians who are going to their voting stations in order to cast their votes. But from the early hours, they are coming even before the opening of the voting stations. They are coming in order to cast their votes. I can see men, women, young, old, they are all keen to come in order to cast their votes.
Yes, indeed. Basma, how do you describe the participation of women, of youth? How did you see the voters during the past 2 days of the voting process for the presidential elections?
Egyptian women, indeed, Mahisi, have been always making history. They have been always they played a great and vital role during the critical stages in the country. They also they played, as we know, a great role during June 30th revolution, and they also came today and yesterday and the day before full of will and determination in order to cast their votes. And when I talked to them, they told me it is a national duty, and they came to share out of love for Egypt.
Indeed, Basma Taha, our correspondent from the polling station at downtown Cairo. Thank you so much, Basma, for your feedback, and we'll be back to you throughout the day for more updates on the voting process on the third and last day of the election for the choice of the president for Egypt for the coming 6-year term for 2024. Our dear viewers, Egyptian voters across the nation cast their ballot in the presidential election 2024 for the third day of voting. On Tuesday, the polling centers were set up nationwide to choose a president for the new 6-year term. The present vote is held under full judicial supervision. 65 million eligible voters cast ballot at 11,631 subcommittees inside 9,376 main polling centers nationwide to choose a president for the coming 6-year term. Contesting candidates are President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Farid Zahran, head of the Egyptian Democratic Social Party, Abdel Sanad Yamama, head of Al-Wafd Party, and head of the People's Republican Party, Hazem Omar. Across different governorates, remarkably large number of voters also cast ballots for the presidential elections.